Jim Gaffigan's new two-part stand-up comedy special called The Pale Tourist is available to watch now on Amazon Prime Video. Jim boldly goes where no stand-up comedian has gone. He travels to Spain and Canada, meeting locals and learning about their culture. He then transforms those experiences into all new stand-up sets that will have you laughing with delight. Now watch Jim Gaffigan, The Pale Tourist, only on Amazon Prime Video. This episode is brought to you by a new advice podcast hosted by comedian Tig Notaro called Don't Ask Tig. Tig Notaro doesn't have all the answers, but with the help of her friends, she's offering up some funny and honest advice for life's many issues, from ending toxic friendships to cutting your own hair with toddler scissors. If you're a longtime listener of WTF, you've heard Tig on here, or maybe you've seen her on my show Marin, or maybe you just know her from her own stand-up and her shows. And if you don't know Tig, now's your chance. Listen to Don't Ask Tig wherever you get your podcasts.
Lock the gate!
All right, let's do this. How are you, what the fuckers, what the fuck buddies, what the fucksters? What's happening? Joe List is on the show. He's a comedian out of Boston, out of the Boston area. I didn't know much about him. I was happy to talk to him. When I watched his new special, I didn't realize, who he was. I'd seen him around, but I thought he was some alt guy, some lanky little alt comic. But he's a joke slinger. He's a killer. Old school. Got his training in the old method. Talked about that. I was sort of like, wow, this guy's got some he's got some weight. He's got some heft to his joke delivery. So I talked to you Sunday, and let's try to keep it together here. But Monkey's gone. Long live Monkey. Monkey is dead. Long live Monkey. Great cat. Great friend. Very consistent companion. 16 years, almost to the day, my cat Monkey was with me. Through it all. Back and forth from New York a couple times. Me and the Munkles. And from all the way from a garbage can in Queens, back alley, to a house on a hill, Highland Park, and now to the big house here. Monkey was with me. It was time, though, man. And we had talked about it, me and Monkey. As many of you know, I've been in grief for the past couple of months. And, I've been worrying about Monkey's health for probably close to a year. They get old. I put his sister down a while back, LaFonda. That was rough. Terrible. It's terrible trying to figure out when, but it was very clear with LaFonda. She had lost her mind. She had lost a lot of weight. She was having trouble balancing. She was trying to climb into the toilet, into the bathtub. And then she started howling. And then I took her in. And they rigged her up with a catheter, and I held her, and the doc sedated her and then asked me, "Are you ready?" And I was ready, and then that was that. Lynn was with me for that. I was holding the cat. Lynn was holding me. So outside of worrying about this cat constantly, for months and months, I would get up. Is he all right? Is this today? Is he sick? Where is he? What's going on? Is he going to eat his medicine? What are we doing? Does he have the flu? Does he have asthma? I mean, there's a whole portion of my brain that was committed on a daily basis, even when I was out of town, to worrying about my cat Monkey. So connected to this cat. I projected a lot of misery on him, but he was okay. His quality of life was all right. But then it gets to a point where, what is it exactly? And we had a long discussion about it. He knew I was sad, and I told him, I said, look, I'm going to be okay. You can go. If you need to go, you can go. This was like a week or so ago. And he was still jumping up on my bed and sleeping by my head. And, I was crying on my bed, and, he looked at me. He's like, I get it, man. I get it. I know this has been hard, and, I've been through a lot with you, and this is certainly the hardest thing we've been through. But I'm here, but I'm almost done, buddy. I'm almost done. And I said, okay, man. All right, I get it. You're like 80. He's like, yeah. And it's been good. And I'm like, well, you let me know when you want to go, when it's time to let go. So Monday, in the morning, it's weird what you hang on to. Like, I'm going to try one more time. I'm going to give him sub-Q fluids. I held him down. I gave him the fluids. He ate his medicine. And that was the other thing that was making me happy. It's like, if he would eat his medicine, I would get relieved. But what is that quality of life? He sat on the couch for 5 minutes and he ate his medicine. It's going to be okay. It's not. After a certain point, they're just old and they're ready to go, and it's on you. They don't know when to die because you've made their life good. It's on you. So I got him in the box. I brought him in the afternoon. I texted Doc from the parking lot, and he got him in there right away. And it was so weird because Monkey is usually crying in the car. He was just looking at me. He was just peaceful, almost like baby-faced. Kind of like, okay, thank you. I'm sorry. But when they took him out of the car, the guy, the tech, he's like, meow. And I'm like, oh, man. And I had Modesto. I had Doc, I had him do a blood panel, man. Let's just check it out. And he does the blood panel. I wait about an hour, and he's like, it looks great. Everything looks great. The kidneys look great. I'm like, I gave him sub-Q fluids. He's like, oh, that's why. But then he said he lost another 0.3. He's down 1.3 pounds in 5 weeks. That's a lot of his body weight. It's not good. And I'm like, but his kidneys are all right. So, like, what can we do? He's like, we can give him an appetite stimulant. I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Let's give him an appetite stimulant. That'd be great. But try that. And I was about to take him home. And I just sat there and I'm like, wait a minute. He can't breathe. He's whimpering. He's lost 1 pound and 3. It's like the medicine's not working for the asthma anymore. The sub-Q fluids, am I going to get him an inhaler and do sub-Q fluids 3 times a week? For what? So he can sit on the couch for 5 minutes and eat his medicine? So I texted back. I'm like, Doc, I don't know, man. It don't feel right. And I wanted my vet to tell me. He helped me with LaFonda. He said, it's time. And my vet, because he's a great vet over at Gateway in Los Feliz, Modesto, Dr. Modesto, he texted me back, yes, I would honestly euthanize Monkey if it was my cat. I said, okay, let me know when to come in. But so I went in there. They brought me in. They walked me back. I put the mask on. And he was sleeping. He was out, but his eyes were open. He was sedated, breathing. Monkey, my cat, my old guy. And there were 2 techs in there, and the doctor, I said, how many people are going to be in here? And I'm fucking crying. And he said, just me and you. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And I just put my hand on Monkey's chest and, in his stomach and on his head. And I said, go ahead, do it. And I just held him. And he shot it in him. And then it just stopped. The breath stopped almost immediately. And I walked out. I cried a lot on the way home, but the hardest thing is just knowing that you did the right thing. And of course it was the right thing to do. And of course it was the right time to do it. And I'm now just realizing just how worried I was about him all the time. And I'm so sad that he's gone. But God, what a great cat. What a great life. And he really fucking hung in there. So I'm relieved but sad because I can remember my whole life with that cat. I can remember all 16 years, like he's been the constant, him and the other ones, LaFonda and the original crew. And you got to realize, I don't know, many of you know this story, but I don't need to tell the whole story, but it was because of those cats that I found my voice on radio. It was the adventures of those cats and my adventure with those cats when I trapped them in Astoria in 2004 when they were a couple months old, the night before the Republican convention, and I was doing daily morning radio, and I brought 4 feral kittens into my house. And I began talking about that on the air. That's where I developed my ability to be on these mics. my voice on the radio and on this podcast was built on the backs of LaFonda and Monkey, for sure. They were the inspiration. They were the muses. They were the beginning of freeing my voice on radio. Godspeed, Monkey. Monkey is dead. Long live Monkey. Thank you for all your support and fan art and everything else, and for listening to me talk about Monkey. He's made his way into at least 2 of my specials, and the fucking Monkers. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I should mention this. On Sunday, August 9th, I will have 21 years sober. If I make it to Sunday. I think I'm going to make it. I got a pretty strong feeling that I can tell you this now, and I'll probably bring it up Monday. But August 9th, 21 years sober. If that inspires anybody, it fucking should. It's an amazing thing that I don't even think about that as a solution anymore, drugs or alcohol. And I'm off of nicotine for almost a year. I think that's like on the 24th or something. So, not bragging, because God knows being wide awake at this particular juncture in history is not particularly terrific or a great gift, but it is happening, and I'm not hiding from it. So, if you need to stay sober, if you have a problem or you think you have a problem, there's always help. Can find help. There's always a meeting somewhere online now. You can go to a meeting any place in the world right from your house now. Okay, enough of that. Boston. Joe List comes from Boston, and he did his training in a similar way that I did, with some of the dudes that I knew, that I came up with. And it was kind of a great talk, because I didn't know him, and I started in Boston, really. And he's got a new comedy special, Joe does. It's called I Hate Myself. Joe List, I Hate Myself. Premieres tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern on YouTube as part of Comedy Central's stand-up channel. Joe financed it himself, and then he taped it a week before everything shut down. He also has a weekly podcast that he hosts with Marc Normand called Tuesday Stories. Get that wherever you get podcasts. And this is me and Joe List coming up. Folks, here's the thing about home security companies. Most trap you with high prices, tricky contracts, and lousy customer support. So while there are a lot of options out there, there's only one no-brainer, and that is Simply Safe. Simply Safe's got everything you need to protect your home with none of the drawbacks of traditional home security. It's got an arsenal of sensors and cameras to blanket every room, every window, and every door, tailored specifically for your home. Professional monitoring keeps watch day and night, ready to send police, fire, or medical professionals if there's an emergency. You can set it up yourself in under an hour. Just peel and stick the sensors exactly where you need them. No technician required. And there's no contract, no pushy sales guys, no hidden fees, no fine print. All this starts at $15 a month. We're not the only ones who think Simply Safe is great. U.S. News and World Report named it the best overall home security of 2020. Head to simplysafe.com/WTF and get a free HD camera for WTF listeners. That's simplysafe.com/WTF to make sure they know that our show sent you. Folks, Umbrella Academy is coming back to Netflix for its second season. Yes, it is. If you watched the first season, you know that on the same day in 1989, 43 infants were born to women who showed no signs of pregnancy the day before. 7 were adopted by a billionaire who created the Umbrella Academy and prepared his new children to save the world. Season 2 is bigger, badder, bloodier. Burning questions will be answered and more will be raised. When are they? Are they alone? How do they stop the apocalypse? Again. It's a new decade with new problems. They're back in time, back to their antics, and back to saving the world, folks. The Umbrella Academy is not just another superhero show. Season 2 has these siblings face unexpected and complicated romances.